Today's video is for Jeff. He asked me what retirement expenses were a surprise for me in retirement. Thought this was a great question. Now, I planned very carefully for retirement, my budget. I did a bottoms up budget on things that were going to change and what was looking like it was going forward into retirement. What was my vacation budget going to do? I think I did a pretty good job, but I still had 8 surprises. Folks, I planned for inflation. I planned for home repairs, major ones like new carpeting, a remodel, things like that. And I also put in $250 adjusted up for inflation every single month for surprises like a dishwasher or a hot water heater. I know they cost more than that, but I just put it in as a monthly expense. And, that put in, I think that's $3,000 a year, that I put in. I put in a lot of one-time expenses. I had some weddings that I wanted to contribute to. I don't know if I mentioned cars or not. Um, but there were 8 surprises, and I think you're going to adjust your budget after you hear about these today. So here are those 8 expenses. All at once, I'm going to talk about each one just a little bit, and these are not all equal in value, and there's one that's by far the biggest. Okay, hang on for that. Number one, property taxes. Man, in 1 year, my property taxes went up 20%. 20%. I pay roughly $7,000 a year, and like 4 or 5 years ago, that was 5,000, 4,800 actually. So massive revaluation of the homes, and I'm sure you guys are all facing this. Home prices, boom. Property taxes, even though I don't have a mortgage, boom. Okay. Number two, dental work. I did not have dental insurance after I retired. It was my employer's plan. I decided it was too expensive and didn't cover enough. Okay, they had like a maximum out of pocket of 2,500, and it was $100 a month or something like that. So I chose not to do that. And my wife, not to blame her, but she happened to be the lucky one that needed an implant, and that was $10,000 all in. New root canal of a tooth, and then an implant. Massive, massive cost that I just didn't have anything budgeted for. Just assumed everything was going to be great, which is a big mistake. Dental, make sure you got something in there for dental. Now, one of the things we have done with our dentist, they have a plan where they kind of, because they don't like filing insurance, we paid like $750, and that include a year, and that includes like 20% off everything, plus your 2 cleanings for Lisa, 2 cleanings for me, and X-rays for me. All in, that we paid $750 for that, and that's just what we're doing. We get priority if we're trying to schedule an emergency in. So I'm happy with that. Actually, we've been doing that for 2 years. Number 3 is home and auto insurance. You know that story. It's going up for everybody. But one of the things I did is I changed my deductible from $1,000 to 1%. That saved a lot. On the homeowners, and on auto, we got those we're with State Farm, and I check this about every 2 years. I go in and get some different quotes, and State Farm's been very competitive. But we have that little module in the car. I think it's called Drive Safe. And because of my mileage on my car is extremely low, like 2,500 miles a year, I've reduced probably 70%. The premiums on our second car, and on Lisa's car, and I drive it a lot on vacations, it probably went down $100 a year because we use that Drive Safe. So I've been happy with the Drive Safe. Big Brother's watching you, but doesn't bother me. And we've saved some real money with that. I'd say that's with homeowners and auto pushing $1,000 a year. Number 4, healthcare events. When I retired, I was 54, my wife was 52. Hey, you think you're going to be healthy forever? We haven't spent anything on medical in like 15 years. Nothing. So you just say, hey, we're going to be healthy the next 10 years. Well, had a couple events. I won't say who, but we've had a couple events, and this year we're going to max out our out of pocket. And I didn't plan for that. I was looking at premiums and a few nickel and dimes here or there, but we just had a $10,000 out of pocket this year. So I underestimated that one. And this is pretty big for people. One of the things I recognize in myself and other retirees, they think they're going to maintain their health exactly as it is the day they retire. I'm healthy now. I'm going to be healthy till I'm 85. Doesn't work that way. Number 5, paying others to do work. And this one pains me the most. I paid somebody to replace my hot water heater, and I can do that work. I paid somebody to cut down a tree for me, and I can do that work. I paid somebody to replace the vent fan that's over our cooktop. It blows out, through the roof, and I don't go on the roof anymore. And I paid somebody to do that. Those those make me cringe. But paying people to do work that I used to be able to do myself, I didn't plan for that very well. Number 6, and this is by far the biggest one, by a long shot. When I retired, I was looking at how much my nest egg was growing, and what my expenses would be, and taxes and inflation, all that kind of stuff. But Roth conversions was a surprise to me. I didn't dive into that I needed to manage my taxes on purpose, pay taxes early, not just at RMD time, pay taxes early to lower tax brackets and my overall tax burden, okay? It's significant for me, and I'm paying an additional like $50,000 a year in taxes. Lowering my net worth with makes you cringe just a little bit seeing that come down, but it's the right thing strategically for the long term. So how are you going to how are you going to pay taxes throughout your retirement? I'm choosing to pull some of mine forward for significant savings, but still got to pay those taxes. And what am I using to do that, pay those taxes? YouTube income. That's where my YouTube income is going. It's going to paying my Roth conversion taxes. So thank you. Thank you for watching those commercials. Roth. Number 7, restaurant prices. Yesterday, I went out to lunch with a childhood high school friend. Just my meal, okay? This was a modest German restaurant. Modest, I had a meat. They had some like 3 different kinds of sausages, and I had sauerkraut, and I had German fries, okay? Total bill, including tip, drinking and water, $27. You couldn't spend $27 on a lunch, 7 years ago. You couldn't do it, But restaurant prices have dramatically increased. Number 8, and this is something, I don't know if it's in your area, but it's in mine, veterinary prices. Now, when I retired, we had a dog and a cat. And I'm telling you, before, let's say at the time I retired, we would spend, not counting food, but just on vets, we may spend $100 a year on each of them. Those prices have gone up to like $400 a year on each one of them. It's just ridiculous. I don't know what's going on with vets, but getting their shots and getting their inspections and little problems, as they're aging. I'm just amazed at what veterinary expenses have gone up to. I mean, they've gone up 400% since I retired. And we're not doing anything major, no big reconstructive surgery or anything like that. Now, both my pets have died 18 months ago or something like that, and we're not planning on, we're now calling this a cost savings, okay? So I'm gonna kind of tie some things together and talk about some expenses we've chose to spend more on. So looking at these 8 expenses, a couple lessons in there that, I'm taking away. Spending is uneven. uneven. I may have 1 or even 2 years where, no surprises, things are great, and then you say, "Hey, maybe I ought to lower these expenses. I'll lower what I have in there for medical and dental," and then wham, you know, the pets go to the vet, and I have, get a dental issue comes up, and property taxes go up, and boom. Uh, Number two, retirement didn't cause all these expenses. These were just life events, inflation, vets, even the dental. Just life happens. It wasn't necessarily triggered by retirement. And then number three, predicting these is tough. You may not have any of these expenses. You may have perfect teeth, and until you're 90. But life happens. So I try to plan for that. So I'm putting in, like I said, $250 is really what I'm putting in a month for issues around the home, and then I added another 400 a month, 400 a month for just total out of the blue surprises is what I put in my expenses. 5 areas where my wife and I are choosing to spend more money. This is just, getting more comfortable with our plan. Also, the stock market has done really well since I retired at the beginning of 19. So the fear of, having some poor returns at the beginning, the overall fear of just not having income coming in, confidence in the plan and how I've worked it, now I've optimized it, all those things said, okay, now we can loosen the purse strings just a little bit. And so here's some things you may want to consider adding to your budget. It took me a while to get to these, but this is where we're at. Okay. So number one, better hotels, cruise cabins. I just got back, February, we went on a Panama Canal cruise, 16 nights. And we got a nice balcony with that. And I've cruised several times, not several, like 5 times. And, Alaska, we got a balcony, but the previous 3 we didn't, just to save money. Hotels, man. I used to stay in, a Quality Inn, a Holiday Inn Express, still stay in those, but we would try to find a nice hotel for just spending 1 night there, even 2 nights. We'll get a nice clean hotel, look at the outside, look at the inside, and it could have been $75, $100, something like that. Actually stayed in one that was like $50, and it looked good on the website. Let's say that. So we've upgraded, and I don't mind spending $150, $200 on a hotel room. I'm going to Glacier National Park on a big mega road trip coming up in a few months, and staying in the park. I reserved those a year ahead of time, and those are $700 a night. That was not in the original budget when I planned on retirement, but I wanted to be in the park at these historic lodges, and we're splurging on it. That's very unusual. I don't think I've spent half of that on a hotel room before. Number 2, more family time, specifically around meals. When I retired, none of my kids lived in town. Now 2 of them live in town, starting to have families. And we invite my dad and my kids that are in town over to eat every single Sunday. And we may make steaks, some nice meal for everybody, and that costs a little more. We also, we may go out to eat as a big extended family as much as once a week. That was not in the plan. And I always pick up the tab. I always pick up the whole tab for that. We just want to have great family experiences, and my kids are all doing well financially. Actually, they're all better off than I was at their age. But we are spending more on food in restaurants because we want to have those daily, weekly experiences, not just the annual ones. Number 3, 529 accounts for grandchildren. I started this year off with one grandchild, and I'm going to finish with 3. Great. But we are opening up 529 accounts for them and contribute to them every year, and doing that at birth, and should be able to pay for most of their college. Who knows what college is going to explode to, but Indiana's got a very good program. You put in up to $7,500 a year, and they'll give you a 20% tax credit for that money. So free money, might as well go after it. And a nice gift for grandchildren. I was not planning on this when I retired. Number 4, convenience. I was really thinking about airlines. We don't fly a whole lot, but when I do look at flying as an example, I'll pay more for a direct flight, just so I don't have the risk of a cancellation and then all the chaos. Dallas-Fort Worth. Whoever lives in Dallas-Fort Worth, you got to do something about your airport. It's horrible as far as delayed flights. So I'll pay more for a direct. I may even drive to Indianapolis, drive to Nashville to get those are like 2 hours from here. And I did fly first class one time. I made a video on that. It was in domestically, flew out to California. I didn't think that was worth it. But if we fly international, I'm going to go ahead and bite the bullet and fly first class. Got a trip I'm working on next year for Germany, Austria, Switzerland, a Rick Steves tour, 14 days. Thinking about that. If anybody's been on that, leave me a comment. And number 5, family experiences. The last several years, my wife and I have paid for, we wanted to pay for the whole family to go down to Florida, to go to Smoky Mountains, or go out to the Rocky Mountains. But we can't get everybody's schedule aligned. I've got 4 kids and 4 spouses and starting to have grandkids now. It's hard to line everything up. So the last few years, we've taken one at a time on a vacation. Where do you want to go? We'll pay for it. The only problem is you got to take us with you. So all expense paid, including travel, all meals, everything. You spend nothing, just got to spend a week with us. And we're trying to do that more as a whole family as well. So trying to spend some of their inheritance now on experiences, that's an experience. And then helping out with the grandkids, just take that financial burden off of them, and it just be a gift. So that's where we are intentionally spending more. So my coaching to you is go into retirement with some buffer for unplanned expenses. You decide what that's going to be. Maybe my video today helped you with that. I think that number is at least $250 and could be up to $1,000 a month that you would want to put in for some unexpected things. I listed 8. I also listed things that we chose to spend more. We didn't have to, but due to circumstances and luck, choices, all those kind of things, we've decided to spend a little bit more money. So hopefully this helped out. And yeah, let's go out.